Hi everybody. Well, there's a cruise out there that has seemed to be, taking over the imagination of people on TikTok. Not so much YouTube yet, or Facebook, or Instagram, or Snapchat, or anything else, but on TikTok, that ultimate Royal Caribbean world cruise on the Serenade of the Seas seems to have captured the imagination of TikTokers. So despite the cruise only have basically taken off just a short time ago, TikTok videos so far have raised with the hashtag Ultimate World Cruise over 107 million views on TikTok. And there are numerous people on board covering it on TikTok. The part that's funny to me is that the people covering it are all like Generation Z kind of thing, 1997 to 2012, like that kind of age group kind of thing, like not super young, but not, they're not in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and definitely not in their 60s and 70s, like most cruisers are. And they're the ones doing these TikTok videos and everything and seeing it from their perspective. But I don't know if that's the average cruiser on this. The actual amount of people that are on this cruise, it's 274 days long, 9-month cruise, the longest they've ever done. Well, about 700 people on board are actually on for the full length. The rest are doing segments. But 9 months on a cruise is a long time. And I'd say it looks like about 90% of them are all seniors, either, well established in their careers or retired or on the verge of retiring. And those are the majority of those people that are on this cruise for the World Cruise segment. Yet the people covering it are much younger and probably a lot more into the newer stuff and the toys and the whistles and than the people they're actually on the cruise, if you know what I mean. How many of us are I'll go on to TikTok and I'm just looking for comedians and funny dog videos, stuff like that. But the younger generation, they're searching everything on TikTok and just doing it. And those are the influencers that are covering this. And one of the influencers, well, actually a few of them out there have created this, what they call a bingo card of stuff that will happen on this world cruise. And I was looking at a couple, so I got one to take a look at here that they're gonna, try and see if they can fill the bingo card by the end of the 9-month cruise. And some of the things they come up are common sense things, and some of the other things that I think I had to think about for a second, because 9 months is a long time. 9 months is it's a full school semester. Right? So a lot can happen in 9 months. So one of the things would be somebody goes home early from the world cruise. I think that's a pretty safe bet that something will happen during 9 months that will force at least one of those 700 passengers to have to go home early. Somebody will get sick, somebody at home will die, somebody will lose their job, somebody will, have to go home for an emergency of some kind, right? Chances are that's going to happen. So that's a pretty common sense one. Someone loses or quits their job. Yeah, I don't know how many people would be happy if you're like the boss and everything of not being able to reach somebody because they're in the middle of the ocean and the internet's spotty, that kind of thing. I think somebody may lose their job because they think that they can work perfectly, easily from that cruise ship for 9 months. That might not happen. It could be very spotty internet when you're traveling from continent to continent. So we'll see what happens with that. How about there'll be a viral outbreak? Yeah. Now, some people are calling like there's going to be like STDs are going to be the outbreak, and others are saying there's going to be a norovirus on board. Maybe, maybe. Norovirus is not as common as you think it is. But if you're on a cruise for 9 months, it tends to be like home now, and maybe you relax in some of those sanitation things that you would normally do, like washing your hands every single time you walk in to go to dinner and go to the buffet and breakfast, etc. Little things like that. So maybe it could happen. Then there's going to be TikTokers are going to complain about the food. Now it's early. It's early in the cruise, so I haven't seen any TikTok videos complaining about the food yet. But that food's not going to change. They're not going to have a huge variety of food for 9 months. Eventually, it's going to be all the same. It's going to be the same pizza, the same hamburger, French fries, hot dogs in the buffet. It's going to be the same. That's when I think you're going to see a lot of the TikTokers complaining about the food, because it's expensive to be on that ship. And then if you wanted to buy specialty restaurants besides that, that's more expense. And then you have to go ashore. You're going to eat at shore. You're not going to be then you're going to compare it to, say, a buffet on a cruise ship. And when you eat at a good restaurant on shore, you're going to start seeing those food things. How about a clothing swap? Because you're on board so long that people are going to share clothes with each other. Now that's a younger person thought. I would never think of sharing my clothes with other people and getting other clothes from them. Because also one of the things, if you're on the World Cruise segment, you get laundry. Laundry's included in that. You can send out about 3 bags a week, complimentary. They'll wash it and fold it and do everything. So why would you need to swap out your clothes? I don't understand that one, but that's a young person thing, I think. Someone misses the boat. That's a given. That's a given. Someone's going to be a pier runner and miss that boat somewhere. Or they're going to think in their head, you know what? I'll miss the boat here. I'll take the train down to the next port and I'll meet the boat over there. That'll be a fun experience. That's going to happen. How about group tattoos? Again, something I would never think of. A few of my friends might. But group tattoos? I don't know how close I'm going to be to strangers I met on a cruise ship. Even though I'm spending 9 months with them, am I going to get a tattoo for the rest of my life? And most of these people are senior citizens. So I'm thinking maybe not group tattoos. Maybe the influencers will do it, but I think that might be it. People start dating on the cruise. I don't know how many people are single that are on this cruise. I don't know how many singles are going on a 9-month cruise by themselves. But I'll tell you one of the things, I think somebody will break up on this cruise. I think somebody will have get divorced, get in a fight, because it's one thing to be at home with your family and friends and a bigger house and more room and everything. Now you're in a tinier cabin, stuck there for 9 months. You're with that person all day, all night for 9 months. Even your shore excursions are together. That can put a lot of stress on some people's, especially if you start getting bored on the cruise. That would really, I can see some arguments happening from there. How about there'll be a tragic incident on board? Yeah, 9 months, folks. 9 months on a cruise ship, something bad's going to happen. Somebody is going to pass away. The average cruise person on this cruise is around 70 years old. If you're there for the World Cruise, and I'm guessing, somebody's going to pass away, unfortunately, on this cruise. Somebody's going to break a leg. Somebody's going to have a heart attack, have to get off the that's pretty much a given. They're going to say a huge party at the end of the cruise. Well, I've been on a 7-day cruise and they've thrown a huge party at the end of the cruise. So I'm guessing, yeah, that's a pretty safe bet. How about this one? How about a surprise pregnancy? Somebody gets pregnant on board. Remember, you're there for 9 months. chances are, if you're not, and you're sharing a cabin with a loved one, there's a very good chance that you might be coming off that boat expecting. I think that's a pretty good guess. Then they had some others that are, there's going to be a rainy cruise port. Duh. 9 months on a cruise. I go on a 7-month, I'm expecting at least one rainy cruise. They say that the ship will be delayed because of weather. 9 months, yeah, duh, that's going to happen. Those are pretty simple, easy things. But then there's a lot of things that are influencer things like video. There's going to be videos out there of all the wonders of the world that people see. And there's going to be a meetup with influencers on board. There's going to be brand deals being offered to influencers because it's trending. And even if you've never done a brand deal with somebody on TikTok before, they're going to be reaching out to you to do brand deals because they see how popular it is. There's going to be themed parties on board. Yeah, there's going to be a theme party on probably by now. Cruises have theme parties all the time. So you can tell that a lot of people doing these videos have never cruised before, don't know what to expect, and are much younger than the average person who cruises, especially on these long world cruises. And I'm curious to see if the #UltimateWorldCruise videos keep the momentum up after, say, January. It's all exciting now. It's just starting now. People are curious. Some people are trying to stir up drama on the ships already. Oh, these passengers were rude. Oh, they think I work on a cruise ship. Things like that are going on. And I'm wondering, will that captivate people for 9 months, or will it become old news really, really quickly? I think it might, but I was really, I watched some of these videos and I could tell some of these people have never, ever, ever stepped foot on a cruise before in their life, and now they're on for 9 months. Are they in for a shock of their lives?